Now, moving on to our second discussion, motorists and other stakeholders have continued to express concern over the reformed vehicle inspection officers' operations and prescribed penalties within Nigeria. Now, vehicle inspection officers are car inspectors whose duty involve inspection and issuance of roadworthiness certificates to all vehicles in Nigeria, maintenance of sanity on Nigerian roads as well, and highways by ensuring that vehicles plying Nigerian roads are roadworthy all the time. However, in recent times, it can be said, or can it be said, is a question rather, can it be said that the VIO have achieved their mandate of maintaining sanity on the roads and road accidents? Many motorists said VIOs have practically turned themselves into revenue-generating agencies and have abandoned their mandates. Now, in the studio with us, we have Head Public Relations, FCT Directorate of Road Traffic Service, Kalu Emetu. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Welcome to Daybreak this morning.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay, now to set the tone, for the discussion, even though we've highlighted some of the mandates of the VIO, could you just walk us through the key role that the VIO is supposed to play?
Thank you. When you talk about vehicle inspection officers, they are there to ensure that, just like she mentioned, that there is sanity on every road. Like we are in FCT. Let me first of all state that vehicle inspection services is mostly a state matter. It's a state matter in the sense that it is planned based on the peculiarities of each state. When you are planning for your activities, you think of those peculiar areas that it will affect the people. Now, when you leave your house in the morning and you say goodbye to your family, you're expected to go and come back. And considering the fact that one of the functions or major functions of any government is to protect lives and property, what VIO does is that of protecting lives and properties. So being on the road is to ensure that there is less crashes on our roads. And at the same time, making sure that vehicles that ply the roads don't pose danger to other road users. The road you use is a public road. Everybody has right to use the road. So when you have personnel who direct ensures that people who use the roads gets to their destination safely, they are playing a major role. And at the same time, every state also use the VIO to generate revenue. But this one is considered to be a secondary function. Why is a secondary function is, as we all know, life is very important. There is a lot of regard to it, both by the government and non-government actors. So all these things are to tell you that the job of the vehicle inspection officer is very important. Now in FCT, it's not just making sure that the vehicle is roadworthy. We also control traffic. That's the peculiarities I talked about. If you go to some states, VIOs don't control traffic. They only make sure that the vehicle is roadworthy. But here in Abuja, we also control traffic. Apart from controlling traffic, we make sure that all the services, all the businesses that have to do with automobiles, we regulate them, like the mechanics, the car dealers, all of them. We make sure that they operate in line with what we expect them to do. That's why you will not see a car dealer who will ply his business any place he likes, because VIO is there to ensure that he doesn't operate where he's not supposed to operate. That's why once in a while you see us, like those of them selling within the city center. These are undesignated areas. We make sure that we remove them from there. From time to time, we go there to some of the vehicles just for them to know that where they are plying their business is not where they are supposed to be.
Okay, so when a vehicle owner comes in contact with a VIO, like on the road when they're driving, what should the owner expect? Like, what is the inspection process?
Yes, first of all, you are advised when you are leaving your house, do the routine check. Ensure that the engine is good. Check the oil that is there. Check whether your wiper, especially during the rainy season, is working. All these minor things. Check your tires before you leave your house. That may not be enough. When you come out, our officers will be there. When you are flagged down does not mean that we hate you. What we are doing is to make sure that you get to your destination. So the first thing we do is to make sure that you clear from the road. When you are cleared from the road, we don't allow for obstruction. Some people will accuse us that we even cause obstructions on the road. That is not true. What we teach our boys is when you stop a vehicle, make sure it's cleared from the road. But you see some people, for the mere fact that they are seeing VIO officer, the sight alone
Confuses them.
So it's not supposed to be like that. We are all friends. Somebody who is planning how you get to your destination safely is supposed to be your good friend and not your enemy. If he stops you, just obey the simple instruction. Clear from the road. When you clear from the road, the next thing we will do is to look at that vehicle round. He will know what to ask you. First of all, he will ask for your driver's license. That shows that you are trained, you can drive. When anybody drives on the road, it increases the rate of accidents.
Right.
Anybody can drive,
Right.
but how can you drive well? When you are trained, the first thing is you are taught all those road signs. Apart from teaching you all the road signs, you are taught how to handle the steering. All these things contribute to the safety we talk about. Safety of life is not what anybody can joke with. If you see our officer being firm, don't see him to be an enemy. He's only trying to make sure that the right thing is done. When you drive with other people who understand how to drive, there will be less carnage on our roads. Nobody derives joy when it happens. Definitely it will happen, but let the rate not be high.
Okay.
We try as much as possible to do all these things by first knowing the person who is driving, whether he is trained, whether he's supposed to drive, especially when the situation is such that people who don't have the heart, people who are not well experienced in driving will find it difficult to drive. You see somebody after 1 or 2 weeks with either his husband or his wife, you see the person driving on the roads. When it happens, the person will find it difficult to know what to do.
Right.
So we try as much as possible to try to stop such people. Like you go to driving school, which is the first thing you do these days. When you go to driving school, you come to us. We look at it, we test you, and know whether you can drive. It's only when we pass you that we will recommend you for capturing. When you are captured, we'll issue you the license. That is when we've gone around to know, yes, this person can drive. All these things we do it to reduce the carnage on our roads. Now you are asking of what VI officer should do when he sees a motorist on the road. He will go around, look at the vehicle, know all those things that are not supposed to be. He will tell you, please, go and do it. That's why FCT administration has gone to a higher level now, where we have our inspection office that is electronically planned. It's so that you have accuracy in whatever fault your vehicle is having. You will also be advised to go to your technician, not that you'll be forced to do it there. You go to your technician for him to rectify it, change what they are supposed to change, make sure that that vehicle is roadworthy.
But sometimes the vehicle inspection officers insist that they tow your vehicle themselves.
Without
They
warning.
don't actually advise you and say, please kindly fix your car. They just tow your vehicle. And
Well-
sometimes there are issues of money where you give tips and they say you have to give some money. You know, we've seen cases like that as well.
look at it this way. Like I said, revenue generation is part of it, but we consider it as secondary. Where your vehicle is towed is when you have been seen not to obey the simple instruction that has been given to you. There are cases where somebody will try to run with our officers inside the vehicle. It's common. Now, when such person is accosted, the next thing we will do is to order for towing van. Or if the vehicle will not move to any place due to the condition the vehicle is, the next thing will be to tow it to a safer place. Now you see broken down vehicles in different parts, almost everywhere. What do you expect? It's only to tow such vehicle. That is why we emphasize on maintaining your vehicle. Vehicle maintenance is very important. When your vehicle is in good condition, it can hardly stop you on the road. It's only when there is a fault and somebody is managing it. I'll do it tomorrow. I am busy today. I can't do it today. Tomorrow I'll do it. The same tomorrow will come. You'll still be very busy. You'll be managing it. You wouldn't know that it's your life you're managing. The painful aspect of it is, it's not only you that is involved. Remember, you are using a public road. People, everybody has right to use the road. So when you are managing such a vehicle, at the end of the day, you may create problem to another person. Most times, it's people who don't intend to die who lost their life in such process. So, as a responsible government, every institution will be created to ensure that such people who don't care about their own life, not to talk of the lives of others, are made to do the right thing. That's why you see enforcement. That's why you see the presence of the VIO personnel. That's why you see road safety, you see police. All these things are to ensure that lives are protected.
Okay. Now, you earlier mentioned that part of the training process, like when somebody's applying for a driver's license, you have to go to a training school, and then they have to come to you before you actually issue if the person has really, passed that test. But it looks like some people have found a way to actually bypass that process and get a license. Some don't even have the roadworthiness at all, and we still see them, on our roads.
It is extremely difficult these days. It used to be like that in the past. When somebody would send his passport, license would be given to him. All these things were observed. Then now it has been structured in a manner that you have to pass through this test. Even if you feel you are highly connected, there's something you can do to bypass it, you will still come to VIO for testing. When you are tested and you fail to meet up the requirements, you'll be asked to go back for another 1 month. That 1 month is you are expected to go and continue learning so that when you come back, you pass the test. There is no how you miss this test because we know that lives are involved. You see, some people like these people who go against traffic, drive against traffic, they are like going on a suicide mission. You may intend that you are hurrying to a place, but you are trying to kill others. So all these things, we'll look at it. The person who is testing you will psych you up. Your psychology, everything about that driving will be tested. He might even ask you to speed up when you are not supposed to speed up. But it's left for you to know, no, why should I speed up in a place like this? When you reason like that, the person will record it and know, yes. Even if another person is telling you, you have to speed up, you don't have time again, you overspeed, you do this and that, you will have the God to challenge the person and tell him, no, the right thing is for us to get to our destination and not to hurry into danger or endanger any other life.
Okay, now with the whole process and the capturing and everything, I want to believe that you have a database of most drivers,
Good.
But do you have a database for the vehicles that ply the road? And will we ever get to a point where everything is computerized to the extent that, when a particular vehicle, is on the road, when maintenance is supposed to be done on that vehicle?
Definitely. Like every vehicle that apply FCT roads, especially those that have FCT number plates, we have the data.
Okay.
If you ask us, we'll go as far as telling you where the owner of that vehicle lives. We can call the person on phone, and at the same time, we know when the vehicle is supposed to be maintained. That's why 7 days to the time we'll send message to you. It's automated. You get the message reminding you that your vehicle is due for maintenance. In this case, we talk about renewal of your documents. We know when you are renewing your document, that vehicle must come in good condition. If it's not in good condition, we will still subject it to tests. When it's done, we know that that vehicle is in good condition. When it's in good condition means that it's roadworthy.
Okay.
We emphasize so much on vehicles being roadworthy.
Okay, please let's quickly take a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at other perspective to the issues. Do stay.
The board and management of Media Trust Limited invites the general public to its annual Daily Trust Dialogue, themed 2023, The Politics, Economy and Insecurity. Date, 20th January 2022. Location, NAF Conference Center and Suites, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR. Guest Speaker, Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai. Guest Speaker, Governor of Ebonyi State, Engineer David Umahi. Guest Speaker, former Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui Okauru. Moderator, Executive Director, Daria Media Nigeria Limited, Kadaria Ahmed. The event will be transmitted live on Trust TV, and all participants must observe COVID-19 protocols and wear their face masks.
Welcome back. It's still Daybreak on Trust TV, and we still have Head Public Relations, FCT Directorate of Road Traffic Service, Carlo Emetu, in the studio with us, talking about roadworthiness and, the VIO in general. Now, there's this question that I know a lot of people would want to ask, and it has to do with duplicacy of, roadworthiness and, other functions. For example, giving out driver's license. We know the FRSC does that as well, and the VIO does that as well. What do you have to say about that?
No, there is nothing like that. What we have is what we call tripartite arrangements.
Okay.
The VIO, the Road Safety, and the Board of Internal Revenue. What we do is you pay to the Board of Internal Revenue. In Abuja, you do it through the VIO. And the Road Safety is there. What Road Safety does is to capture you, have your data in the database. Now, our own is to, like I mentioned earlier, make sure that you have been trained, you can drive. When we test you and know that you can drive, you are qualified to drive, we make that recommendation for you to be captured. When you are captured, we know that you have been fully captured. VIO will issue the license to you.
Okay.
Now, people will ask, who gives driver's license?
Right.
When you look at that driver's license, the one you are holding, you see the signature that is there. Is by the head of vehicle administration in that state. Like in FCT, you have the Directorate of Road Traffic Services. It's his signature that is in that vehicle license. What Road Safety does is to harmonize it, to make it uniform in all the states.
Okay.
They print it. It's like getting contract from the states to do it so that they will look alike in all the states of the Federation. So when it's produced and given to the states, remember I said traffic matter is a state matter. That was how I started. When this is done, the state will issue it to the prospective drivers. when this is done, it's believed that it's being issued to somebody who can drive. So when you talk about duplication, there is nothing like that. All these three bodies work together to ensure that the right person is given the license.
Okay.
When you talk about roadworthiness, in FCT, let me be specific, we don't do that. When you bring your vehicle for registration, it's fully registered when you have the vehicle license. It's fully registered when you are given a number plate. It's fully registered when you are given the roadworthiness certificate. Now, you see attaches, like the insurance companies, they operate around the motor vehicle offices. When they see anybody who is about to register a vehicle, they'll go to him for them to issue insurance, because it's one of the conditions for anybody to drive on Nigerian roads. So they feel that they will get their customers at VIO offices. So they are like working together. You can get it in a particular place. Not that it's the vehicle inspection officer who issues the insurance document, but for the fact that they meet their customers at VIO offices, you see them, see their agents around who work with VIO officers to issue all these documents. So when you are leaving, that your vehicle is fully registered, you have the vehicle license, you have the roadworthiness certificate, you have the insurance, like I mentioned. These three documents are very important for you to drive on Nigerian roads.
Okay. Now let's talk about, the prices, of renewing and also processing a new registration for a car. What are the prices like? Because sometimes you find that they tell you for this type of car, the price is so, and there, there's a lot of difference, in the prices of renewing and also registering your car.
To start with, it depends on the kind of vehicle you are registering. Let's use a car. A car, you use about 10,000 naira to register it. And the services each state render makes it different from the other. Like in FCT, the vehicle inspection, which is the core mandate of the vehicle inspection officer, he makes sure that he uses, in FCT, we have computerized centers, like I earlier mentioned. The vehicle is taken there. The comprehensive check we do, the prices are there. So you may do it as 7,000 naira, 6,000 naira in Kaduna, but in Abuja, you do it at 10 or 10,500. So to determine the actual cost is when you get to the office, the kind of vehicle you bring is what will determine what you pay. That of SUV is different from cars. Articulated vehicles are different. Trucks are different. The weight of that vehicle, as far as you're applying it on the same public roads, the weight determines how much you pay to government.
Okay.
So that's why it will be difficult for anybody to just say, this is what you use in doing it.
So why the price difference for each state?
These are all the things I explained.
Okay.
The services you render. Like if you go to Nasarawa, they may not have the computerized inspection center where we look at your vehicle and tell you the state of that vehicle.
Okay.
Now, in FCT, before you register your vehicle, you expected, there is what we call pre-registration inspection. We look at it and know how that vehicle is. We will tell you what you need to do. When it's done, these are services we render. Government spend money to provide all those things for you to receive the services. So they have to recoup the money. That's why they will charge you based on the services they provide to you.
All right, before we wrap up, can you quickly enlighten us on the recent reforms on the operations of the VIO?
Thank you. Recently, we had a stakeholders meeting. Every stakeholder in the transport sector was invited. We had a discussion. We talked about amendments of the traffic laws in FCT. We talked about going into areas that we didn't expect, like some years back, we didn't know that there's going to be app-based transportation system. Like now, the Uber and the rest of them. You can stay in the comfort of your home, invite a taxi to take you to a particular place. We didn't know about it. Our laws didn't cover it. So we amended our regulation in FCT. Apart from amending it, before we bring it out, we brought every interested party to make input so that at the end of the day, to not look as if you were not carried along. In FCT, you know, we have who is Zoo in Nigeria live in Abuja. Likewise, all over the world, their representatives, they live in Abuja. There is nothing we do, we deviate from the provisions of the law. We try as much as possible. I mean, the leadership in FCT try as much as possible to carry everybody along. When the stakeholders meeting was called, who is who all over the world, as far as the transport business is concerned, was there. What they did was to rub minds in all these areas I mentioned, the app-based, the conventional taxi, the mass transit, all of them were looked at. Those who have interest in one thing or the other, aid their view. We collected all this information, which is aiding us to improve on the regulation. When all these things are in place, it's for the public, the motorists, to enjoy it. Like commuters deserve the best. A situation where you pay, somebody will squeeze you, 5 of you, in the seat that is supposed to carry 2 or 3. You are squeezed like that, despite the fact that we are talking about COVID-19. People be squeezed in a vehicle. These are not normal. We are trying as much as possible to make sure that people get value for their money. We are talking about Nigerians. You can't live like an alien in your own country because you want to move from a point to another. And at the same time, the need for you to maintain the vehicle. Not when somebody pays you, you stop him on the road, telling him that the vehicle has stopped. It's not proper. We are looking at that also. Now, the vehicle, what kind of vehicle? Where is it supposed to apply? We are looking at that. Now, Okada was banned. Commercial motorcycle was banned in FCT since 2006. Recently, the trend is the delivery motorbikes that move from one point to another to deliver one thing or the other. The way it's coming, people started complaining that they are also nuisance like the commercial motorcycle. Now we are looking into that. We are bringing up a policy that it must be owned by businesses. When I say businesses, corporate bodies that are registered, because it's such organization that will have the need to deliver something from one point to another. It's no longer all commerce affair. And the kind of motorbike we are proving now is no longer the type they were using at that time. Now, this time around, it has to be at least 200cc, bigger machines, that when you are riding, it will be fit for the highway in FCT. You know, we have good roads in Abuja. Our problem is people don't know how to use it. Because you have seen a good road, you feel you will drive 180 instead of 100, which leads to accident also. So we are looking into all these things. So the delivery motorbikes we are looking at should be such that can be used on these highways. That's why we are talking about 200cc instead of the usual 160 and the rest of them they were using before. All these things are what we are putting into consideration. Now, you talk about tricycle. Where are they supposed to operate? This is the kind of transportation that is supposed to serve for last mile. Last mile is like those who live in estates. They will bring you from your estate to your gate. you bought either taxi or you enter buses to where you are going. Now, they are not supposed to be competing on the road with buses. They are not supposed to be competing at the highway with other vehicles. So when they are restricted to areas where they are supposed to operate, you see there will be less crashes on our roads. Instead of competition, it will be complementary. Stop at this point. Let the one that is supposed to apply this kind of route be the one to pick that person. Now, all these things are what we are looking at.
Okay.
In the area of technology, we are doing very well to make sure that we meet up with what the world is empowered.
Well, we hope to see that, come to life. We have to wrap up the discussion here because of time, but it has been quite insightful getting to know more.
Informational as well.
We are really very scared of the VIO when we see them ply the roads. We are
VIO
always
is your friend.
scared. All right, we've been speaking with Head
much.
Public Relations, FCT Directorate of Road Traffic Service, Kalu Emetu, giving us perspectives on the role the VIO plays in the country and making sure that our cars are roadworthy at all times.
Thank you. I appreciate your input.
Thank you for having me.